The first thing we need to do if we want to manually humanize AI written text so that it is not detectable by AI detectors is stop obsessing about em dashes and punctuation marks and other individual symbols and words. It's very common to see advice such as remove all em dashes if you don't want your AI written text to be flagged as AI written. However, em dashes and all these other symbols are a thing of the past. These days, AI detectors are much more sophisticated and they are looking at the overall structure and predictability of our text. So the key goal is to make it less statistically predictable, to break down the uniform structure of the text. And whilst it may involve introducing more variety to our connectors, including em dashes as such in principle are not a problem at all. You can still have them and it doesn't have any impact on whether your text gets flagged. So in this video, I'll show you an example of how I am manually humanizing AI written text, and I'll provide commentary explaining what I'm doing and why I'm choosing these specific features of the text to humanize it and make it undetectable by AI detectors. As always, I ask ChatGPT to produce text for me so that to make sure that it gets flagged as AI written text. It's a personal statement, so for an imaginary person applying for an imaginary degree in arts. It took me around 15 minutes to humanize this text, but I sped things up just so that you don't have to watch the full process, but I'll explain what I'm doing. So you can see it's 100% AI written. First thing, I'm removing the cliche from young age, and also I'm removing redundancy, so power of creative expression. I didn't like it. I just simplified it. That's the key, simplifying. Now I'm changing the structure of this sentence just because I like it more. I feel it's more natural, and it's all about making things more natural, less perfect, less uniform, like I said. I'm also changing the order of these triplets. So I talked about in my other video, it loves listing things in 3 AI, and I suspect that the order of these things is also very standard. So performance, music, creative, storytelling, I'm just changing the order. Sometimes it's enough to fool AI detectors. Here again, I'm making it more active and simpler at the same time, more personal. I'm just explaining it in my own words. So I didn't like the complex structure of the sentence. It's all about moving clauses around, changing the order and length of sentences and clauses, breaking the sentences down into shorter ones. That's what I'm doing as well, because it's all about the context. If there are several sentences with exact same length, AI detector starts to understand that this is too predictable. Here I'm constantly testing and seeing whether there is an effect. You can see that sometimes it goes back to 100, so it makes it even worse. I'm experimenting with different things, removing single words and seeing if it changes anything. So breaking sentences down again into several sentences, trying to rephrase ideas and just make them simpler. Such as here, when we're talking about these philosophical influences, I just didn't like it. I just made it simpler and I just made it make sense. Then you can see that straight after the middle section just doesn't get flagged anymore because of this context around it. So I don't have to change every single section. Here again, breaking sentences down into more sentences. I didn't like the thing about being encouraged because nobody encouraged me to explore different ways. So I just changed it to a more active thing. I'm adding fillers such as for example, so just more natural and more personal fillers. Again, something that AI doesn't always do. Here again, I'm just mainly thinking about the actual message. What does it mean? What are they trying to say? Because it's just so over the top. I'm simplifying it constantly, just thinking what is the message? What are we trying to say? And how can I say it in my own words, basically. Here again, I'm mixing the order. Remember, sometimes it's enough to just change the order because maybe photography, philosophy, and literature, or whatever was the original order, is how AI every time lists these things, which means it's statistically predictable. Sometimes just switching things, swapping things really helps. Here we're getting to the end. So again, I'm trying to rephrase. I broke things down into several sentences. I'm making it more to the point and straightforward and active. So I began to explore disciplines. Here I'm obviously struggling with a couple of different things I'm trying to understand, but again, it's exploring the world around me and all that, and inspiration is another one of favorite expressions by AI. You can see I got to the end almost. Here it's very AI-ish, so different binaries and different examples. So I'm still sticking to kind of to the original, but I'm already thinking it's probably not gonna work. Eventually, I believe I'll remove most of these examples. But again, if you're thinking about it, what we actually trying to say, right and wrong is probably enough of an example of a binary category. But we'll get to that later. Here again, I'm thinking about what they're actually trying to say. That's very important. I'm still trying to retain the original meaning, so I'm still talking about this appreciation of the beauty of death, although I absolutely hate this expression. So as you can see, it's still getting flagged. I'm constantly experimenting to how to simplify it even more. And here, I believe I'm making it just simpler, right and wrong. And that's it. That's my example, right and wrong of a binary category. And here we can see finally good results. But then the first sentence still gets flagged, so I'm changing this to fascinated. But then what is creative expression? I'm just deciding to just say it in my own words again, just different ways to express myself. And you can see the result, it's 0%, and then I'm copying and pasting to Copyleaks, which is very in-depth, and it confirms that it's 0% AI written. So as a recap, what did I do in this video? What did I do with this text? So essentially what I've done, again, is I broke down the structure. This is important. You saw the part where I didn't have to change anything because I changed something before it and I changed something after it. And you also saw the part where I changed something and it jumped back to 100% because again, I must have used something that resulted in that sentence coupled with the immediate context being just too uniform, maybe too uniform a structure. So changing the length of sentences, sometimes making two short sentences, combining them into one long sentence, sometimes the other way around, breaking down a long sentence into a short sentence, or several short sentences specifically. Then simplifying word choice. And I'm not talking about dumbing it down or making it deliberately simplistic, but I'm really talking about genuine simplification, as in I'll say it in my own words. For that, and I say it always in all these videos, you have to first look at a sentence and think, what is it actually trying to communicate? How can I say this? Once you internalize it, this answer in your mind, then you can actually express it in your own words. And it's usually a matter of one word or another word. Sometimes you just don't know which word is a problem because, as I said earlier, it's usually not an individual word. It's usually a combination, a cluster of words that are just statistically predictable because AI loves using these words together. And if you look at them, they don't really look suspicious at all, but it's just something that these detectors these days understand because they have access to these millions and millions of linguistic corpora text online. I'm also adding natural redundancy. So things like, for example, or even a repetition when I say express myself, ways to express myself, expressing myself. So again, natural redundancy, natural imperfections. Again, it's not really affecting the quality. It makes it sound human. Then personalizing the voice, just I experimented with things instead of being encouraged to explore. It's personalizing and also simplifying and just making it make more sense and making it more straightforward again. Because what does it even mean I've been encouraged to explore? Who encouraged me? It didn't really explain anything. It just says that for the sake of saying that in that text. I'm adding more personal, more spontaneous language, like when I say, or even philosophy. Again, in that context of that sentence, it just makes sense because it adds this spontaneous aspect. It adds this indication almost of a surprise or something of a personal opinion on that. You could see that I actually kept some M dashes. They don't have any impact. M dash is a normal thing and it's been used for ages, especially in academic writing. So it's more about introducing more variety to our connectors. If M dashes are the only kind of connector, the only device that's being used, then it's just a sign that is predictable, just like any other symbol, such as a comma or something. So it's more about just making it less uniform. So I hope this helps you understand the logic, the mechanism of AI writing and AI detection a little bit more. Remember, you can ask me questions in the comments if you're still unclear about anything. Remember to explore my services. If maybe you lack time or confidence to humanize your AI written text, I have a service where I do it for you. I also guarantee the highest quality of academic writing in the final output.